What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Dayton Triangles franchise here on Madden 25, where we welcome ourselves among 31 other teams in this revamped UFL. We find ourselves after such a strong start to the season, where now we're kind of in must-win mode. We're kind of in a spot to where if we want to have any shot of going to the playoffs at this point, we need to win our next 3 games. And it starts with, frankly, one of the best teams in the entire league, the Vegas Vipers. We go to their building in the Viper Pit, and Vegas is having one of the most amazing seasons to date, going 11-3 so far this season, and not to mention they have both a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense to go with it as well. So gonna have our fair share of problems here in this episode. We're gonna have to bring our A game if we want to come out here, and if we want to come out on top, as is kind of a do or die mode for us at this point. 3 games out, we're in a must-win situation, and we just gotta find a way to win this game straight up and down. So hopefully you guys are excited for this video, man. If you are, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. And before we jump into this game against Vegas, we got a few things that we need to take care of first. So because we have to be going out here and taking on this Vegas squad who has the best record in the league, we definitely need to come out here and make sure we have a solid plan of action, not only for their offense, but also for their defense as well. I mean, it's a team sport at the end of the day. You could have like an MVP caliber like quarterback, you could have MVP caliber players on one side of the ball, but if it's not, the same way on the other side, then, I mean, it could be a problem. So, we're talking about our game plan going into our upcoming matchup. And one of the problems that we could come up with is this passing game. This is a very good passing game down there in Vegas. And so, didn't want to call somebody out specifically, but I mean, Paul, like, you got to be able to play good man coverage. You got to be able to survive on an island. So he gets a +5 boost to play rec, but -5 to tackling. I do feel like we don't need as much help with stopping the run. I feel like we're a solid run stopping team, but passing wise, we are struggling immensely with that passing attack, right? So on the other hand, though, talking to our offense, we definitely felt like there is some exploits that we could take advantage of against their offense, and more specifically, like their right end and like their second defensive tackle are guys that we could try and take advantage of. And so the plan to take advantage of them is pretty simple, actually. We're gonna kind of go with that Dan Campbell type of approach, and we're gonna simply try to run through a motherfucker's face, right? I think that's gonna be our plan of action here. Hopefully it works out for us, because we desperately need this win in the worst way. Now, one of the last things that I wanted to do before we hop into this game, though, is that we do have a upgrade for one of our custom guys, Chris Gentry. He had the pick-6 in the last game, so he's playing a little bit better than what his overall says, and so I'm glad that he is getting an upgrade in particular. That's going to allow him to get up to a little bit more of a respectful 69 overall. I think that's very nice. He's able to get +3 to play recognition and a +4 to zone coverage as well. Still got that normal game dev, but using him a couple of times, he actually plays a little bit better than what his rating suggests, and so maybe like it gets him a little bit closer to seeing a little bit more consistent playing time, so to speak. But let's go ahead and take ourselves to the Viper Pit in the Sin City, and let's see if we can get out of here with a win. We're gonna have to gamble it all and go all in. Otherwise, our season might be over in this episode. Let's go get it, boys. Alright, boys, Vegas is going to start with the ball first, but we actually get Vegas into a 3rd and 5, but we see Vegas air it out deep to the right-hand side, and Peter Townsend actually gets burnt. It's a foot race between our star receipt guy and their star guy, and Jaron Derapapi is going to be able to win it. And so Vegas is immediately going to get up 7-0 here. Don't love that we gave up a deep pass on the first drive of the game, but I can also quickly see why the offensive game plan, why the game recommended that we go with that particular route. First carry for Paul Lashley, we run it to that right-hand side, and it works out beautifully, actually. We're able to get an 18-yard run on the play because maybe they're better at stopping the pass than they are stopping the run. At least that's what the roster is built like, because they did get to our quarterback somewhat quickly, but we are taking advantage of their run defense. I mean, Paul Lashley is having his way here on this first drive of the game, so hopefully it sets up a big play downfield, and sure enough, Chris Saxon is going to be able to get open on the deep crosser, and Chris Saxon is going to find the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton. And the Triangles of Dayton, Ohio, they are going to tie it up here in the Vegas pit within the Sin City. So both teams were able to start off pretty fast. We're able to get a touchdown. They were able to get a touchdown as well. Now it becomes a matter of who's going to be able to make those adjustments and who is going to be able to make those adjustments first. Now, 1st and 10 coming up for Vegas as Sanders drops back to pass. He's going to find a receiver over the middle of the field. It's good for almost a first down. He was very close to moving the sticks, but it's going to be a couple of yards shy, though. Definitely important for us to try to get a pass rush, as how is this a first down? I need someone to actually explain that to me, because this running back was definitely going backwards, and because he was going backwards, that should have been at least going the opposite way. At least that's what he called it against the Bengals like a couple of weeks ago in real life when I was recording it. Mike Gesicki had like one catch for -9 yards, which is wild to me. But with that being said, 1st and 10 coming up. Sanders actually steps on the pocket, is going to scramble. Cameron Spencer was giving chase, but needed a little bit of help to bring him down. And even though we had things perfectly covered downfield, we still give up a first down anyways. So just multiple ways for the defense to be thrown into a blender, and so is Dylan Wright. Was expecting the post, and Richard just leaves him behind. Glenn Richards probably going to have one of the easiest touchdowns of the season, and so Vegas is going to have a 14-7 lead. Now, with our offense back out onto the field, though, we get back to that ground game, and Paul Lashley continuing to exploit things on the ground, having over 50 yards on the ground before the end of the quarter. So hopefully that continues to open things up here for our offense as they try to throw over the middle to Chris Saxon, who breaks a couple of tackles and is finally able to move himself forward to about the 30-yard line. Chris Saxon was definitely in a contested area, but it doesn't matter, though, because we are going to put our trust in Chris Saxon, one of the best receivers in the UFL right now. Don't be surprised if he gets an NFL invite either this season, or like this coming off season, or like the next off season. So we got to take advantage of both these guys while we still have them. But we try to throw to him yet again. We can't quite connect. So 4th down coming up, but the running game has been absolutely phenomenal, though. So we're going to go for it here on 4th down, and Paul Lashley is going to get it here. So that will continue to drive, and that will also bring an end to the first quarter of action already. It's been a fun first quarter, one that is going to potentially show out as a shootout here in late in the season here on Monday Night Football. But with that being said, we got a drive going of our own, and listen, I definitely want to finish this drive out. Let's see if we can get it done, as we'll go ahead and no, we're going to bamboozle them there as we throw the ball to Chris Saxon. I mean, that DB was simply not coming down, and that catch is going to mark the 100th catch of the season that Chris Saxon is going to have. Truly an excellent season that he's having right now, but not as excellent of a drive, so to speak, as, you know, Andrew Collar did make a great choice there. It was a little gun shy. And so it's 3rd and 12 coming up as Collar's going to drop back into the pocket. He's going to look over to the left-hand side, has Jason Bingham on the flats, And Jason Bingham is actually going to move the sticks. First down for Dayton. And the drive will, in fact, continue anyways. You love to see it. Now, a couple plays later, though, as we try to set up a goal line situation, as we were trying to throw that out, looking through the reads, but Vegas was able to get home, and now it's 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line. Big decision here in what we want to do, and we're going to make some adjustments here at the line. We're going to go to the left-hand side here, because I like the matchup here on the left-hand side, but the defense is able to run to the outside faster than Paul Ashley can. But you know what? Worst case scenario, we're going to have Vegas stuck inside the 5. Can we get into the end zone? Yes, we can. But wait a minute. There's a penalty on the field. They're looking at one of our offensive linemen. And my worst fears were suspected. Kevin Beekman called for the holding. And so we had to back it up. And so 4th and 12, we're going to settle for the field goal. And we're going to still be down by 4. But so far, the big story today has been the Vegas offense. There's been 2 drives here for Vegas so far, but both have led to touchdowns. Hopefully, this 3rd time is the charm. Can we keep Vegas out of the end zone here on this 3rd try? As they'll throw it over to the right-hand side. It's another big-time catch down the sideline as Gregory Sanders continues to have his way against our beleaguered defense, and particularly our DBs. As now 3rd and long coming on up here as 3rd and 10, looking over the middle, and we're actually going to hold him down before the end of the first down marker. And so that's going to make him go for a field goal. So, hey, you know, we gave up a bunch of yards on that last drive, but at least when it mattered, when it actually did matter, we were at least able to get them off the field when it counted the most, right? So here we are, new drive here, and we have a chance to time things up as we'll go ahead and move Chris Saxon into motion. Actually going to dump it off to Chris Saxon. Nobody really giving him much company, so that's going to be one of the easier first downs that we'll get on the day. As now, 1st and 10 coming up as we're in Vegas territory. Collar looking over the middle and finds Jason Bingham. And Bingham is going to be just outside of the red zone. Both offenses looking extremely good here in this first half of action, as that's going to take us into the 2-minute warning. As now, 1st and 10 following the timeout as Collar is trying to get this pass off. Barely gets it done, as that could have very well been intercepted. So instead, it's going to be 2nd and 10, where we'll dump it off to Paul Ashley, who gets a little bit closer to the first down marker, but not across the first down marker, so to speak. It's going to be 3rd and 3 instead, where Collar will drop back, look to the right-hand side, and he'll find the tight end, Grayson Heidick. Nice little safety valve as the tight end will pick up the first down for us yet again. So 1st and goal from the 8 with an opportunity to tie, and 3 plays to do it too. First play is going to be thrown over the middle as I wanted to connect with Leon Thomas, but they were all over that, so that ends up being incomplete. And so we're not great at learning. We're going to again throw over the middle. That's going to be another incompletion. So 2 consecutive incompletions does lead to a 3rd and goal from the 8-yard line. Collar wanting to step up. Does realize he's facing some pressure. Tries to do a scramble drill. But his receivers were not necessarily in sync with their quarterbacks on the scramble drill, I would say. So we have to settle for a field goal, unfortunately. So still down, but not down by much. We're only down by 4 points here. Just got to make sure that, we hold things down here towards the end of the first half as Vegas gets down the sideline already across midfield. Not what I wanted to see at all. But 1 minute left here in the ball game as Vegas drops back to pass. Looks over the middle of the field, and that's going to be caught for a big play. Denario Allen and Peter Townsend are both in the area, but neither of them are able to make a play on the ball. Just a perfect throw for Sanders. But we do nearly make him pay for it as Peter Townsend does get his get back. He's able to get the deflection. As now, 2nd and 10 coming up as Sanders lines up in the shotgun. Steps up in the pocket. Is going to try to scramble. Can he get to the first down marker? Yes, he does. just barely gets to the first down marker, but that clock is still running as we speak. It's now 1st and 10 now here in the red zone, trying to keep them out in the end zone before the end of the half, as Dianapi is going to reach 100 yards before using their second timeout. So a few valid shots here at the end zone. We'll see how they play these next few plays. As Richards does make the catch for a first down, but does stay in bounds though. And it will set up a 1st and goal opportunity. And no one's simply home there. You know, we had somebody on the vicinity, but Denario Allen was just too focused on playing the zone. He didn't even realize it was a running play. And so just the disastrous end of the first half from an defensive standpoint. We're going to be down by 11. And then we'll also use this time to take a look around the rest of the league to see what's going on. Big one to watch out for, Orlando. They pulled the upset on San Antonio. That does help our playoff hopes if we want to remain alive. Pittsburgh is also able to play spoiler and beat Columbus 28-17. And then in terms of some blowouts, Evansville beats Memphis by a couple of touchdowns. And on top of that, we do also see the Atlanta Legends. They go off. They put up 45 points on the New Orleans Breakers, with the Baltimore Stars also able to beat the LA Wildcats as well. So here we are, a 2-score game here coming out of the first half. We did defer to the second half, so we do at least get the ball to start this second half of action. And gonna do a little bit of trickeration. This time we'll get Leon Thomas involved. One of our offensive linemen not looking in great shape though, so that might be a cause for concern later on. But time being though, we're gonna get Leon Thomas more involved. Felt like he was very quiet there in the first half. You know, didn't really see him as much as I wanted to. Kenny Beekman was the one that was injured and had to leave the game. He does have a calf strain, so trainers are currently working on him. Might be able to come back on the next drive if everything goes our way from the injury front. But for now, the offensive line is doing its thing, even with, you know, a backup or two in there. As we throw over the middle, we throw a dime to Chris Sexton. And again, the Dayton Triangles are going to find themselves in the red zone. Now, that hasn't led to immediate success as of late. We did have to stall out for field goals. So, got to make sure that we handle business here, like, inside the 20. Not just, like, within, the 20-yard line, right? But we are short of the first down marker after trying to throw it to Paul Lashley. And you know what? It's only 1 yard. We're going to go for it here. As Uncle Sam's once said, scared money doesn't make any money. We're going to go for it here on 4th down, but we get no penetration from our offensive line. We actually lose the rep. We lose the down, and Las Vegas is going to take over inside the 10-yard line. This is starting to turn into a spot where, you know, things are going to really shake out here in favor of Vegas. But thankfully, our defense is able to hold. We get a 3-and-out on the following possession. We have the ball back in our hands once again. And we connect with Chris Sexton. Once again, big-time play for the superstar wide receiver. As that's going to lead to first down for your Dayton Triangles, man. Let's go, baby. That's what we love to see, man. As now, 2nd and 6 coming up. We're going to run it with Paul Lashley. Lashley now gets us firmly into the red zone, as Lashley has had an excellent performance, now over 100 yards on the ground. But still down by 2 scores, though, and I definitely want to get a score on this drive. Trying to throw to the right-hand side, and I wanted to get it out to Leon Thomas. It doesn't work, so again, you know, doing amazing work in between the 20s. But when we get into the red zone, we can't do anything. It's been a frustrating day offensively. We do at least get a field goal this time around, but, you know, down by 8, you know, we are really at the mercy of Vegas as of right now. Because, I mean, we're getting towards the end of the third quarter here, and this is probably going to be the last play of the third quarter. It ends in a short completion, even though Paul Bass was, I mean, he was all over it. Not much you can do there. But yeah, end of the third quarter, it's definitely a competitive game. We're down 24-16. It's not over, but we need our defense to make a stand to make sure that we can come back and win this thing. And it starts with this play right here, right now on a 3rd and 1. And Sanders is actually going to get the ball off. They run it on 3rd and 1. And they will pick up the first down. We were stingy there, but just not stingy enough, unfortunately. So Vegas is going to move the sticks, and the drive will continue, where a couple plays later, they'll dump it off. And, yeah, we're struggling to get sacks on the quarterback today. We have not touched Gregory Sanders at all. It's been a good day for this offensive line. And it's also a big reason why Gregory Sanders is able to have the kind of performance that he's been able to have all day today. We'll see if they continue to go his way as they do a little bit of that halfback alert thing that we did earlier in the game, except they might have ran it a little bit better because McNair actually made somebody miss in the open field. And just plain and simple made us look silly, man. So red zone opportunity coming for Vegas once again. We do get them to 3rd down, but it also hasn't always led to immediate success, though. 3rd and 10, though. Sanders rolling to his right, and we're going to bring him down the backfield. Cameron Spencer able to finally get a sack on his quarterback. We've been waiting all day to get the sack, and Cameron Spencer does manage to get it done. And so 27-16 ends up being your score, but at least we kept him out of the end zone, so it's definitely not over yet. But less than 5.5 minutes left to play in the game, and we need to score. Doesn't necessarily have to be a touchdown, but a touchdown would help a lot more than a field goal at this current juncture in time. But thankfully, we have guys like Chris Saxon, man, that are just able to continue to find ways to make great plays. And Chris Saxon is a classic example that he's going wild here in this second half. We'll see if we target him yet again, though, as the caller steps up. He's going to find Leon Thomas, who's able to run away from a defender briefly before cutting upfield and getting inside the 15-yard line. It's a first down for your Dayton Triangles, but that clock is starting to run and starting to become a little bit of an issue. 4 minutes left in the game as we're going to try to pull a fast one, running the ball. And Paul Lashley gets some space to work with, can't shake the defender. Is able to get over 1,000 yards on the ground, though. It's been truly an excellent season for Paul Lashley, at least from a statistical standpoint. But trying to find the end zone, finishing the job, and Andrew Collar finally gets it done. Touchdown Triangles. We're still down by 5, so no need to celebrate, and Collar understands that because they're about to go for the 2-point conversion. Now, if the 2-point conversion is good, we're going to be able to go ahead and make this just a field goal game, and Paul Lashley is going to be able to get the 2-point conversion to be successful. So, 2-point conversion is good. We're down by a field goal, and not to mention, we get Vegas to go 3 and out. So, opportunity to possibly tie or even win the game if it's in the cards for us. And we still have all of our timeouts, which we will end up using our first timeout here as we will get to, looks like about midfield, just a little bit shorter than that. So now 2nd and short coming up, looking to the right, fires, and it's Leon Thomas that's able to make the sure-handed grab. Really reminds me of like a off-brand T. Higgins, right? He is special. He is a special little player, man, for sure. As we'll go ahead and go into our Noah huddle. Clock is ticking. 1:20 left to play as Paul Lashley out into the motion. They're pressing him, and that is a certified bad man deep downfield, and he's gone. Touchdown, Dayton, and Paul Lashley hurts the defense at the best time possible. We're going to take the lead with 1:12 left to play in the game. But the million-dollar question is, did we score too early, though? We're about to find out because I need my defense to make a stand. Can they get it done? Sanders looks over the middle of the field and is going to find his guy nearly for the first down. Vegas will use a timeout. They still have a couple of timeouts remaining, so this is far from over, but our defense is really coming through. Cam Spencer and Dylan Wright both making plays. It is now 3rd and 5. One timeout left, and Sanders got the X Factor turned on. And that's also a forcing completion. That's Nick Cotton, the safety that we got from free agency. And now it's 4th down coming up. 4th and 5 to be exact. Roberts dropping back, looks over to right hand side. They just barely get the 1st down. They just barely get it, but they gotta go no huddle. They're going fast. 30 seconds left in the game. Sanders looks over the middle. It's caught, but the ball's on the ground and Roberts recovers. It's recovered. That should be the game. It looked close, so we'll see if they do a video review. And sure enough, they are going to take a look at this to make sure that the call on the field is actually correct. So let's take a closer look at this, and man, it looks like from that angle, looks like the knee might have been down before the ball was officially loose. So they will overturn the call, and Vegas will have it once again. But thing for them is that Vegas had to use their final timeout. So they have like a couple plays left. They're not spiking it, and so just going deep downfield, making sure that we do not in fact get beat deep. And so here it is, 6 seconds left in the game. Our season on the line. Let's see what our boys can do with 6 seconds left. Dropping back, looking over to the left-hand side. He's going to send it deep for the game. And it's going to be incomplete, and it's over. Dayton is going to hang on and win a classic. 31-27 is going to be your final score, and our season is going to remain alive by taking down the best team in the UFL. Boys, I will tell you what, this was certainly a story of 2 different halves. In the first half, we just could not find a way to stop this Vegas offense. But in this second half, Dayton was able to lock in defensively, only holding Vegas to a field goal. They did not find the end zone a single time, and it really showed out there, man. I am so proud of our team, and I'm so proud that we're able to find a way to make this comeback happen. And it was truly a group effort here in this one, as Andrew Collar is going to get things started here. He played mistake-free football today. He was 20 for 29, over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, did not throw a single interception. This is what we've been looking for, and this is what we saw from Andrew Collar in the first half of the season. It may be a little too late, but for today, we're just happy that we got the win. In addition, we got Paul Lashley the ball a lot more, and Paul Lashley, he was extremely effective. He ran for 20 carries and 116 yards in the game. But it was Andrew Collar that was actually able to find the end zone. He had 2 carries for 22 yards. Leon Thomas had a nice run on the jet sweep as well. For the receivers, Chris Saxon had a massive day today. Chris Saxon had over 100 yards and a touchdown in the ball game. But it was Paul Lashley that was able to find the end zone too. He had 3 catches for 59 yards. Leon Thomas was your second best receiver today, though, with 5 catches and 59 yards outside of the receiving core, of course. Now, defensively, it was a rough showing in the first half, but we made some great halftime adjustments. And because we made some great halftime adjustments, we were able to find a way to get it done. Niles Cotton led the team in tackles today with 11 tackles. Dylan Wright had 10 tackles as well. Really just bringing in that bend but don't break mentality. That being said, we didn't do a great job getting to the quarterback, though, as Cameron Spencer and Eric Burden were the only 2 people to have sacks, but really not much to report there. Didn't get any turnovers, but this was the epitome of what I want for my defense. You can give up all the yards that you want inside the 20, but with that being said, though, you know, when we got into the red zone, when they got into our side of the field in that second half, we were able to lock in and get some key stops when it mattered the most. But another thing that happened for us right after the game was that we did have some upgrades to a couple of the linebackers that we have on this team. And on this team, we're definitely going to show some love to Cameron Spencer, who did have the only sack for us in this ball game. We're going to work on his speed rushing abilities, you know, because that was definitely a strength of his, and we want that to continue to be a strength of his, as he's going to get a +2 to tackling. He's now going to be up to an 82 overall with that star development as well. He's on his way to being an absolutely excellent player for us. But then Dorian Kirksey also gets an upgrade as well. Dorian Kirksey did occasionally had some playing time today, and honestly, he didn't do too bad. He didn't do too bad at all. And so Dorian Kirksey, he's not going to get an overall upgrade, but we're going to work on his weaknesses for Dorian Kirksey. He's going to get +2 to power moves here and a +1 to finesse, but no change to his overall rating. Now, with that being said, we are going to see one of our guys end up having their season come to an end early. It's Matt Weaver, and Matt Weaver dislocated his ankle. He has to go onto the IR because it is such a serious injury. And this is a big loss. Matt Weaver really is like a great value brain version of what Aaron Donald is. And so this is going to be a massive loss for us to continue to lose, you know, someone like a Matt Weaver, man. It's going to hurt for sure. So it's going to have to be a team effort, I should say, in order to replace his production. So it made us look into what we have available on our practice squad, and I think what I want to do for our practice squad is, first, I'm going to give Gabe Quinnen here an upgrade here, because I didn't realize he even had an upgrade to begin with, but Gabe Quinnen is going to get +2 to power moves. But what I'm also going to do is I am going to go ahead and bring this rookie in. We'll have him elevated up onto the active roster for the final couple of games of the season. So thanks to that win, that is actually going to keep us alive for the time being, because San Antonio did end up losing. The San Antonio Brahmas did end up losing here. So that's a big deal for us here, because that's going to keep our playoff hopes alive. But a couple of teams have already clinched a playoff spot. Evansville was able to clinch a playoff spot, and they are 1 win away from clinching our division. Las Vegas, despite the loss, has also been able to clinch a playoff spot as well, but our ability to beat Las Vegas squad gives St. Louis a little bit of breathing room to maybe seize the AFC West as well. So maybe we still are cooked. Maybe our playoff chances are still not very good. But in the next episode, what I think I want to go ahead and do is I want to play these last 2 games of the season. Now, the last 2 games of the season has us taking on Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh also is needing a win in order to stay alive in the playoff race as well. So we could at least play spoiler if we cannot come out here and beat or at least not get ourselves in naturally. We can at least stop Pittsburgh from getting into the playoffs as well. That is on the table. And then we also take on the Columbus Destroyers in the next episode. We will wrap up the season number 2 regular season. We'll see if we can come out on top for both games, as we are going to be on the road for both of those matchups. But I am ecstatic to get this upcoming game going against the Pittsburgh Maulers and eventually the Columbus Destroyers as well. And hopefully you guys are excited as well. If you are, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you do have to be brand new to the channel. This is John J Gaming on the mic signing off, but hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.